than 14% of nearly 400,000 immigrants arrested by ICE in President Trump's first year back in the White House had charges or convictions for violent criminal offenses, according to an internal Department of Homeland Security document obtained by CBS News. So isn't all this talk about ridding the country of violent criminals a massive overstatement if less than 14%, again, of the 400,000 immigrants being arrested are had charges or convictions for violent criminal offenses?
Wow, this lady is absolutely out of her mind. Couric is on live television trying to imply that we should only deport illegal immigrants who commit serious crimes, but not the ones whose only offense is being here illegally. Entering the country illegally is breaking the law. This is the whole issue to begin with. Why are these Democrats acting like that part suddenly does not count? It makes no sense. It's like telling a bank robber, sure, go ahead, rob the bank, just don't take the hundreds and stick to the 20s and 10s. At that point, you are not enforcing the law, you are just negotiating with it. Yes, Trump said he would prioritize criminal illegals, but he never said he would let the other millions go free.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
Exactly right. Listen, we are tired of the emotional debate about who should go. If you came here illegally, you should go back home. Period. And it's so bizarre that these Democratic states want to keep these criminals after they get arrested instead of turning them over to ICE. In what world does that make any sense? Send them home, all of them, criminal offenses or not.
If a guy's committed rape and he's in prison and he's going to get out, do you want him deported? I think people would say, hell yes, he ought to be deported.
But
what I'm saying is, if you're not going to,
who are not guilty,
if you're not going to turn over anybody, then that's 0%. I don't think the percentage, it makes a halfway argument to how much effort we have. But if Minnesota's not going to turn over anybody, the whole argument, whether it's 14 or 86, doesn't mean anything. So if they're not turning over anybody, then inevitably there are many emotional cases. You know, the Lake and Riley case of a guy that had been arrested, should have been deported. He was a thug. He was arrested multiple times up in New York. The government paid to send this thug to look for a job in Atlanta. It was almost like, we'll give you a bus ticket so your crime committing person we'll send you to some other state. But to Lake and Riley's family, it was a big deal, and it is a big deal to people who care about what happened to her, that if that person had been deported. Now, you might tell me that person's an anomaly. He's only 1 in 100. But up in Lake and Riley's family, I don't care if it's 1 in 100. The 1 in 100 people who are violent, if that's a number, or if it's 14 in 100, we want them deported. And look, you're looking at someone who's moderate on this issue. I'm not. I don't appreciate what they're doing. I don't like the crowd control. But I do want violent people who are in prison detained and given over to ICE. And if Minnesota's not doing that, they're part of the problem.
What kind of logic is this dimwit even using? She keeps repeating that not all of them are violent criminals, as if that somehow settles the debate. It doesn't. How in the world does that change the basic fact that they're still here illegally? If someone enters the country without permission, that is a violation of the law. So why are these Democrats acting like it only matters if they commit a second, more serious crime? Since when did standards become, well, they only break one law, so let's ignore it? No, that is not how this works. At the end of the day, illegal entry is still illegal entry. We are tired of hearing stories where these people could have already been in ICE facilities waiting for deportation back home, but instead they were kept in the United States. 14% of 100,000 is not a number you should be ignoring, lady.
Katie is a moron. The question is, how long has she been a moron? I mean, we were told that she was a subjective news source, but she just does such a disservice to women because they already have this stereotype that they can't do math. And this is an idiot. I mean, 14% is small. I mean,
Right.
if 14% of your plate of pasta is ground up glass, would you eat it? I mean, she understands cancer. What, one tumor is 1 billion cells. You got 33 trillion cells. That's 0.0033%. But that's not a big deal. She's an idiot. 14% of what, 400,000 people? That's 50,000 violent felons. That's rapists, murderers, pedophiles. Meanwhile, the nonviolent ones that she's not talking about, those are guys that deal with child porn. They're fraudsters. They're drunk drivers. They're traffickers, human and drug traffickers. But those are called nonviolent. She's okay with them. They also won't mention like, oh, they're nonviolent, but they're nonviolent here. They were very violent in Venezuela or where else? Colombia or Mexico. I also love that Tim Walz. Did you see that clip of him wants taxpayers to pay his state for damages? No. Did you see that? Who caused the damages in that state? He's like Jeffrey Dahmer suing a victim's family because he got food poisoning. This guy they're all idiots. But okay. Katie Couric tells you that we've been lied to for 30 years about what our media is. That was objective. We're now seeing the so-called mask come off, and it's not pretty. And it's like, now we know these people were lying to us about everything.
Dan Rather was the first.
Gutfeld is absolutely right. And the fact that this even has to be said shows how far off the rails this conversation has gone. I am listening to these Democrats throw around numbers, 14%, as if that is some tiny figure nobody should worry about. Are you serious? 14% of hundreds of thousands of people is no small number. That is tens of thousands of criminals. That is crime that could have been prevented if the border had been handled the way Trump left it. I keep thinking about how many Americans might still be here if these Democratic policies have never been put in the first place. What a joke. These Democrats protect these illegals and act like anyone who is concerned about them being here is overreacting. It is insulting. It is like they expect the public not to understand basic math. 14% is not a rounding error. It is not some minor detail. It represents real crime victims. And the fact that they say it with a straight face shows how out of touch they truly are. Then they attack Trump for wanting these people out of the country, like he is the extreme one. How does that make any sense here? Wanting criminals removed from this country is common sense. It is basic responsibility here. It is what any government should be doing to protect its citizens. So when I hear them say only 14%, it just sounds crazy. There is no shame, no accountability, just talking points with these idiots. I am so fed up, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below and I'll catch you in the next one.